Okay, I think I'm gonna just put this out there because I think it needs to be said. This is a transmission that I would not recommend rebuilding to anyone who has never rebuilt a transmission before, or even anyone who has rebuilt a transmission like a Turbo 350 or a Turbo 400. Anyone who's never touched an overdrive transmission, don't start with this one, because I have been told numerous times by several people and several YouTube videos and several forums that this is not an easy transmission to begin your transmission building career. This transmission is very precise, it's very small and difficult to work on, and it is very difficult to put in all these snap rings to certain places and stuff like that. I've just gotten my second gear in with a second gear band, drum, sun gear, sun shell, primary frontal, what do you call this, support, central support, and the flex plate with the snap ring on it. It was not easy. You have to line up the lube holes to the valve body, which I will show you in a minute. It took probably close to a whole 12 hours to get this done. A lot of swearing, a lot of throwing of things. Not an easy job by any means. And I would definitely, you know, right about now is the time where I start questioning why I got myself into this. But at least we're on the up and up because we're just about done. So, as for the lube holes, this pump here, or this support, acts as a pump. There's two cylinders here, and those are hollow, and they connect, they'll line up right here to your valve body, and when you're putting that in, you want to make sure that that lines up with those holes here and here. So remember these little hollow 10mm bolts? Them guys are going to go right in here like this and screw in, and if you've got them lined up right, it should go in without any kinds of trouble. This one is giving some trouble, but it's still going in with my finger, so I guess that's okay. This one just goes in right there. They're not specific or anything like that. They're just the same bolt. And when you tighten these, don't over tighten them. They're not going to go in super tight. I don't know the actual torque spec on them. You could probably find out if you wanted to, but I know that they weren't all that tight when I took them out. So I'm going to take the ratchet. I'm going to tighten those up to the sort of, I don't know, probably like 15 foot-pounds, if even that. They're not tight at all. They just tighten them up until they stop turning is really the only advice I can give to you. As for everything else, the last gear pack to put in is going to be Overdrive, and it starts out with this gear here, and this Overdrive thrust plate, which you'll notice has two wings on it. Those two wings are going to line up with these two tabs on your pump, or on your support plate, and they'll just sort of snap in like that. It's not going to snap in, so to speak, but it's going to sit in like that. So yeah, once you get that on, you're going to want to start putting on gears like this, which I'm not completely sure how exactly it goes on, so I'm not going to do it on the camera because I have to read the book and do a bunch of stupid stuff like that. But once you get that in there, you're going to put your overdrive assembly back together if you were an idiot like me and took it apart. And then we'll get on to stuff like installing a torque converter and stuff like that. So just a quick one describing the infinite struggle that it was getting that drum in, and you know, how to install your pump bolts on there like that. Also, when you're doing this, I found out the hard way by having a little bit of a panic attack. You're going to want to make sure that your park gear works. Your park gear is this black gear back here. You'll be able to see it through the access ports here. You're not going to be able to see it because I don't have a light right now. But down in there, the first black gear that you put on your output shaft, that's your parking gear. And this little guy right here has a hammer on it that I don't think you can see even. Maybe you can see right there. There it is. That blue hammer puts it in park. And if that gear isn't lined up with that hammer, it won't click into park. It'll just grind, and you'll be able to see it grinding because this thing is a thrust bolt, and you'll be able to see the end of it coming out without the pawl going down. So that's park. Make sure that works. And then just an idea for you to know how difficult it was getting that in. Transmission has to be vertical for starters, which is why I made this little stand here and a couple of ratchet straps around this that guy right there, and it sort of stood up close enough to vertical. Put it on, slide down the drum. The drum has to sit on top of a gear clutch pack, and there's 6 clutches in there, so they have to line up all perfect. Get the drum on, then put a vice grip on the shaft, slide it down, don't get it caught on the band. I got it caught a couple times, hopefully it won't hurt it too bad. Slide it down the band, past the band, and into the sun shell, and you have to line up the splines on the sun shell, for the Sprague clutch on the sun shell. Line all those clutches up and line up the actual teeth on the shell to the drum so it clicks in and is all perfect like that. And if you've got it all perfect, your lube holes will line up and this snap ring right here will line up. And if you don't have it perfect, none of that shit will line up. And that's about the gist of that. Very difficult job. I really wish that I would have done some more research on this before I got into it, but we're here now. Can't really too late to turn back, but anyway, see you after I get this overdrive crap together. Probably at some point later tonight.